David Andrew Wiebe in the studio here, reflecting on September 2012. And this month has been quite the month because I've been doing a lot of task juggling. And the reason for that is over the course of the summer, I was in a pretty good flow of personal activities, work, errands, building my business, and so forth. And adapting that into my schedule in September sort of became difficult as, a new school year began. And so my teaching year started as well with my students. And so it was kind of just starting all over again in a way, figuring out my schedule as I go and figuring out where to slot things in for the various tasks that I was doing. September also, I hosted a TuneCity event, and that was a lot of fun, and doing those has been a lot of fun. I also had the chance to sit down and interview Rik Leaf, and that interview is on the TuneCity blog. It is an audio interview. And I also chatted with Andrew Levine from Audimated, and I discovered, I was doing a search on the various social media sites that are out there on Wikipedia, and I came across Audimated, which sounded like a really interesting concept. And in fact, at first it sounded a little bit like what we're doing over at TuneCity. And so I was kind of surprised to find that. And I went in and I had to go and check out and see what it was about. And, their concept's a little different and their model's a little bit different than what's going on. So that's all good and well. But in either case, I just thought that it was a pretty cool site concept. And the reason that, he contacted me or called is because he's just been calling all, I guess, if not most, if not all artists on Audimated and kind of filling them in about, social media tactics. And, as it turns out, and as he was finding out pretty quickly, I already had a pretty good handle on a lot of what he was talking about. But I guess for a lot of artists, using things like shortened links or creating a Twitter background or embedding the links to the various sites where they're on, like SoundCloud and Reverb Nation and all those places, those types of concepts were mostly unheard of for them, which is surprising. I guess, I've heard before that musicians aren't readers. A lot of them aren't, I guess, and maybe they're not always plugged into what's going on in the online world. But I think that's becoming more important than ever. Is really, being involved in online marketing, like not have it eat up your life because you don't want to sacrifice a lot of your creative efforts, but at the same time, it's become a fairly necessary way of getting known and promoting yourself. And then another exciting thing is that my house finally has sold after a couple of months of being up on the market and, not having a lot of showings at first and then having some showings. And finally, there was a bunch of showings packed in here, I guess, towards the end of August and beginning of September. And finally, out of that, I had an offer. And I counter-offered that because I think they were pretty locked in. It's not something I would have always done, but I thought, the price has already dropped considerably. It just seems like it's a buyer's market out there. So we'd started at a certain point that seemed fairly competitive, and then over time just kept dropping the price to see what sort of response we get. And also part of that is just, I think it was just finally time to get it off, get it done with, get the house sold. And so it's a good feeling. Obviously, I have to look forward to a bunch of, cleaning up and tearing down and decluttering and, packing up and all that kind of stuff. But in all, it's an exciting time. I'm going to go find myself a basement suite and go move in there, and it'll be I hope it's a smooth transition, but moving is what it is. And that's been my September.